Hey there, Christopher Avery here. Let's talk about being. You are a human being, and yet we have so much focus on human doing. You've heard me say before that when things go wrong, we've been taught to ask the question, what should I do? What's the right answer? And what I've learned is that those questions map to shame and obligation on the responsibility process. So those questions actually keep us from producing amazing results. They keep us from freedom, choice, and power. And I've told you that a better question is always to ask, what do I want? Or what do we want? So, oh, team, look at this mess we're in. Let's stop blaming and justifying and stop for just a minute and ask ourselves, what do we want about this? And that question actually gets us to more of a genius place in our minds where we can access our inspiration and our reasoning and our abilities. So I'm reminded of an old equation that I learned years ago. The three conditions of existence, the things that have our attention on a moment-to-moment basis, are be, do, and have. Beingness, doingness, and havingness. My culture, the Western culture, taught me to think in terms of equation that puts do first and be last. And it goes something like this. If I can just do smarter, do more, if I can do more certifications, if I can do more degrees, if I can do faster, if I can do more hours, then I'll have success and then I'll be happy. It's just one issue with that. We're only as good as our next achievement, which means that we're never good enough. Being in that equation and in that scenario. That's human doing. That's not human being. Right? So the wisdom literature, the spiritual literature, or sometimes the Eastern philosophies, teach us to look at these three conditions a little differently. They say, know yourself, understand who you are. So let's start with being. Do you know what your integrity is? Do you know what your authenticity is? Do you know what your heart is? Do you know what your values are? Right? Do you know what your boundaries are? And then your doingness will emanate from that, and it can only be perfect given the antecedent conditions, and that you're willing to learn and grow, which means you're willing to have the results that come from that. And then you can use that as input to understanding more about who you are. Studies have shown that when people ask you to point at yourself, you don't point at your head, you point at your heart. This is me. You point here, which means that this beingness is pretty darn important. So something you can do today, remember every time you hear the word human or human being, remember to check in and ask yourself, who am I? Who am I today? And is my doingness in line with that? You can find lots more resources at responsibility.com/resources, responsibility.com, and send all of your questions to me at hello@responsibility.com. That's hello@responsibility.com. I look forward to hearing from you.